So now we'll see how to draw the graph. Okay, just see for the sign here I have written. Here in the upper part A is greater than 0 and in the lower part A is less than 0. Okay, so whenever A will be greater than 0, graph will be concave upwards. And whenever A will be less than 0, graph will be concave downwards. Okay, so and what do you mean by D greater than 0? D greater than 0 means the two values are real and different. The two values of root were minus b plus root d by 2a we had studied, and minus b minus root d by 2a. Okay, so if d was having a positive value, then the two values would become, for example, d equal to 5, then two values would become alpha will be equal to minus b plus root 5 by 2a and beta equal to minus b minus root 5 by 2a. Okay, if d was equal to 5, so basically what happened here, we get two different values, minus b plus root 5, and here we get minus b minus root 5. So roots were real and distinct, means two value of root. Okay, and what does root exactly mean? How do you get the root? You got root by putting ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. You got root by putting ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That means you put y or fx equal to 0. So what do you mean by putting y equal to 0? Y equal to 0 means the roots lie on the x-axis, because x-axis is having y coordinate as 0. Okay, let me explain simply. Y was equal to fx and this was equal to ax square plus bx plus c. You put y equal to 0 to get the roots. When you think in terms of coordinate axis, what does y equal to 0 means? Means in a region or a line where the y coordinate is 0, and we know in the coordinate axis y coordinate is 0 on x axis only. So the roots would lie simply on the x axis. Okay, that is the significance of d. Okay, I mean if d is greater than 0, the graph would cut at the x-axis at two different points. If d would be equal to 0, both the roots would become minus b by 2a and minus b by 2a. So graph would cut the x-axis at one point only, because both the roots are equal. Okay, and when d is less than 0, that means roots are not real. So you won't get any point on x-axis for which y is 0. You are getting the roots. If suppose it is negative, I mean if discriminant is negative, then both the roots will be unreal. So actually y won't be 0 for any real values of x. So you can't have any points there. So graph will be either above the axis or below the axis. Okay. So in the first case, if d is greater than 0, roots are real. Okay. So graph would look like this way. It is cutting x-axis at these 2 points, which are the roots, alpha and beta. Okay, in this case d is equal to 0, so it will cut x-axis at one point only. Actually, it will just cut at one point. Graph would be this way also. That is not a problem. Okay. So here you get d equal to 0 and the roots are equal, because if you put d equal to 0, you would get minus b by 2a here and minus b by 2a. So alpha beta will be equal. Here alpha equal to beta. If d is less than 0, then graph would be above the axis, because it can't cut at any point. Because if it cut the axis at any point, that means you will be having some values of x for which y will be 0. But that is not the case. You are not having any real values. So if d is less than 0, graph will be above the axis. Like this. Okay. So how we decide whether the graph will be above or below? We decide it by considering sign of a greater than 0. If a is greater than 0, graph will be concave upwards, as I explained here. Okay. And when a is negative, graph will be concave downwards. So here also d is greater than 0, so it is having two real roots, but the graph will be concave downwards. So it will look like this. Okay. If d is equal to 0 and a less than 0, so a less than 0, graph will be concave downwards, and d is equal to 0, so it is having equal roots. That means it will cut the axis at one point only. So it will look like this. Okay, and here d is less than 0, so it won't cut axis because roots are not real. So it will look like this. Okay. So here, what do you find? Graph in the upper case is this way and the lower case is this way. So here for this graph, what is the minimum value? We always by minimum value we means value of y. Minimum value of function means value of y. Okay, we don't consider x. Okay, so what is the minimum value of function? Where do you find minimum value? Here only this point, because this point is the most negative one. So we will have here minimum value as some finite. Okay, because this will be of some length y. Okay, and here maximum value is going upward, is going towards infinity. So maximum value will be infinite. Same for all the three cases. Here also minimum value is finite. What do you find minimum value here? Minimum value will be 0 here because y coordinate is 0, and the lowest and at the point where y assumes minimum value in this graph is this point. Is this point simply? So here y minimum is equal to 0, and what is maximum? That is infinity. Similarly, here also you would find minimum value here and maximum value here, infinite. Okay. Now, when the graph is concave downwards, what do you find? Minimum value is this way, minus infinity. Because graph is going down, and since y is maximum here, so maximum value will be some finite number. So maximum value will occur here. Similarly, here maximum value will be 0 because no portion of graph is above the y-axis. It is just touching the y-axis. So here it is just touching the x-axis. So the y-coordinate here is 0. Okay, maximum value 0 and minimum value minus infinity. Similarly, here maximum value is finite and minimum value is minus infinity. Okay, minimum value simply means value of y only. Okay, so now for each of the cases, maximum value and minimum value has the same formula. Okay, you just need to apply that formula in order to obtain the maximum and minimum value. Okay, so I am writing the formula here. Maximum value will be, maximum or minimum value will be minus d by 4a. What is d? D is discriminant. That is b square minus 4ac. Okay. So the minimum and maximum value here will be minus d by 4a. Achha, what do you mean by maximum and minimum value? Okay. For this case, we know that minimum value is finite. What do you mean by minimum value? Minimum value of y actually. Okay, so here minimum value of y is finite. So here minimum value will be minus d by 4a. For this case, what will happen? Here maximum value is finite and minimum value is minus infinity. So here maximum value will be minus d by 4a actually. Okay. Okay. Now suppose here we get minimum value here, and it is having some x coordinate also. Okay. So it is having actually x, y. Okay. So it is having some x coordinate and some y coordinate. That means minimum value occur at a point having coordinate x and y. So the value of y here, as I told you, is minus d by 4a. Okay. So there must be some value of x also. for which y is minimum, okay, that value of x is given by minus b by 2a, where b is coefficient of x and a is coefficient of x square. Okay, so y is minimum value of y is minus b by 4a at x minimum at minus b by 2a. Okay, so in short term we say that the minimum value or the maximum value of the function is minus b by 4a at x equal to minus b by 2a. Whenever you are asked what is the minimum value, okay, always find minus d by 4a. And you suppose you are asked in a question the value of y is minimum at what x, I mean what value of x, then you have to find minus b by 2a. Okay, like for this case, this case y minimum is 0. Okay, and you can get it from here also. Y minimum will be minus d by 4a. What is d here? D is 0. D is 0. So it will be 0. Okay. So similarly for this case here also minimum will be minus d by 4a. At what x? The minimum occurs x equal to minus b by 2a. Okay. So minimum or maximum value of y is minus d by 4a at x equal to minus b by 2a. Okay. Whenever the graph will be concave upwards, you will have minimum value as finite. Okay. And whenever the graph will be concave downwards, you will have maximum value as finite. Okay, so we can write here two statements for that. Okay, two statements for that. The first one, if a is greater than 0, then minimum value is finite, and maximum value is infinite. Okay, now statement 2, if a is less than 0, minimum value is infinite and maximum value okay is finite. You know why this is maximum, why this is minimum, because the lowest value of y for this graph is this only, and here maximum value of y for this graph occurs at this point only. Okay, so in this class we saw how to draw some graphs based on the standard forms. Okay, I mean how to draw when a is greater than 0, d is greater than 0, I mean for different combinations of a and d. Okay, in the next lecture we will see some examples of graphs, like how to draw graphs for functions like 3x square plus 5x plus c. I mean when the function will given to you, how will you choose what kind of graph to draw for it. Okay.
For more videos, click the subscribe button below.